Okay, so we're going to repair the Samsung monitor. Now, the first thing you got to do is diagnose and identify the problem, and we did that. We plugged it in, and the power light flashed in, a rhythm, which, shows that the power supply is shutting itself off. And it also made an audible little chirp when it was, and at the same time that the light was flashing. So, I guessed that was bad caps, and I was absolutely right, it was. As you can see, we have bulging capacitors here. And those need to be replaced before this monitor will ever work again. So, I don't know if I need to replace the filter cap, but I might order one just in case, depending on how expensive it is. So first we need to identify what caps we need to replace, and that should be pretty obvious in this particular example. That one's bulging, that one's bulging, that one's bulging, that one's bulging, and that one's bulging. So you want to replace those automatically. Filter cap is kind of up to you. Oh yeah, there's a little cap down there I might replace too. It probably doesn't need it, but it couldn't hurt because it's a generic cap, and it could go at any minute anyway. So, what we have here are these 5 caps are pretty much guaranteed to not be working properly. So definitely order these. If you want to replace the rest of them, that's up to you. I'm probably going to replace that one, but leave the filter cap alone, because the filter cap is probably fine. The big filter ones typically don't go. It's normally the tiny ones. So, there you have it. And here's one thing you really need to understand when working on something like this. This is a switching power supply. The capacitors that are in a switching power supplies take a lot more crap than most capacitors do in a circuit. So you want to order caps that are rated to do the job. What I've done here is I've gone to Mouser Electronics, which is where I buy my capacitors, because it's just an easy website to use. And these are some of the caps that I'm going to get. These are the Nichicon PW series, as evident by the PW and the model number there. Now, the reason you want PW series capacitors is because they're rated for power supply use and switching power supplies. They're a lot lower impedance than most capacitors are. If you were repairing, let's say, a vintage stereo receiver, you could use just about anything because they don't use switching power supplies. But in something like this, if you were to when you're repairing a monitor's power supply or a computer power supply, this is the type of stuff you want to use. You want to use the low impedance, power supply rated caps, and the Nichicon PW series is one of those types of capacitors that you want to use. This is the 820 microfarad one, just in case you guys want to see it. Also, when you replace these caps and monitors, you want to take note of the size, where the dimensions right there. I'm pretty sure by the look of it, it's probably going to be the same cap that was in there as far as size goes. These numbers in the picture are wrong, by the way. That's just a generic picture. And there you have it. These are the other caps I'm going to get. As you can see, the picture is the same still. 330 microfarad, 25 volt, just as it was with the other one. This is also a PW series capacitor. Let me show you the data sheet, and you'll get an idea. This is what PW is for. These are what the different series of the caps are for, basically. The PW series. High reliability for switching power supplies. This particular series of caps are actually made for power supplies. So they're designed to be smaller, low impedance, a lot more reliable, and they last longer. And that's what you want in a power supply. And they're ROHS compliant, so I wonder if that's whatever. But here's a layout of the basic features of those caps. There you go. That's what you want to use when you're repairing a power supply, is these. If you're going to use new ones, that's what you use. And the capacitors on Mauser are pretty good. They're name brand caps that are well known, like Nichicon, United Chemicon, Panasonic, Cornell Dubbler. I think I've even seen some Mallory caps, and I've seen Mallory caps in 50s equipment, so they've been around forever. These caps that you buy on here are not generic like the ones that they put in monitors typically. The ones that were dead in the monitor over there are Capxon branded caps, as you saw. So those are generics, and Capxon caps are a mixed bag. I've had good results with them, I've had bad results with them, mostly bad. So this is what you do. You get these caps, then you put them in the board, and that's what you'll see next. I'm debating whether to get filter cap or not. So, you know, there you have it. That's basically what you do to order caps for something like this. You get the ones that are rated for the job at hand, and of course these are power supply rated caps, so that's what you buy. Alright, this is what I'm getting for capacitors. I'm getting one 50 volt 47 microfarad power supply rated cap. These are all power supply rated caps. They're all Nichicon PW series. I'm going to get two 820 microfarad 25 volt capacitors, and I'm going to get three 330 microfarad 25 volt caps as well. So the ones up top that one up top is 50, but these two are 25 as far as volts go. And there you go. That comes out to be $3.66 plus shipping, which for me is about $5. So that's not that bad. Actually, I can do this for less than $10 to fix this monitor. That's more than worth it, because this monitor still goes for $100 easily on eBay. So I could repair this, put it in place of my Acer monitor here, and I'd have a 1600 by 1200 monitor. So I'll order these caps, and then we'll get on with the repair. This should be a fun repair. I've never actually fixed a monitor before, so this should be fun. I've replaced caps before, but I've never fixed a monitor, so this should be fun. Alright, now I can give you an exact price. All these caps here are going to cost me $3.66 for the caps themselves, $5 for shipping, so I'm paying $8.65 for this entire repair, assuming all goes well. I decided against getting the filter cap because it was a $4 capacitor, which, believe it or not, is actually very expensive for those. Most of these are like 26 cents, $1, 50 cents, so $4 is a little bit expensive. If that ends up being a problem, I'll order that cap as well, but they don't fail nearly as often, so I'm not going to worry about it. So, without the filter cap, which I don't think even needs replacing, this is an $8.65 repair. So, this should be good. Let's do this. Oh yeah. Hello YouTube. Alright, today we're going to fix this monitor. It is a Samsung Syncmaster 204B. Here's all the parts and the screws and stuff. Whoa, I just almost dropped the bezel. That was not a good thing. Anyway, we have quite a few caps to replace. We've got these here with the electrolyte seeping out the top. We got these three here that are just bulging with some electrolyte seeping out of it. That one doesn't have any electrolyte seeping out of it. I already put a screwdriver across this filter cap and it doesn't have a charge, so we're good. I just got to pull the board out and we should be good. So just got to disconnect these wires and stuff and then start up the soldering iron. Woo-wee. Okay, I got the board out. Now something interesting. They actually have plastic standoffs that hold this piece of paper in place, I guess to... Yeah, that's just to stop it from shorting out onto the chassis there. It's an ingenious way, but it's an ingenious way of doing it. These little plastic standoffs remind me of old motherboards for some reason. So I got to get those off, and then we can get on with the repair. Okay, let's examine this a little bit more closely. Now it's out of its thing. So let's check this out. This is a model IP43130B. Samsung Electronics, so it's their own power supply, made in China. What a surprise. It's revision 0.1, 2006. That was right during the capacitor plague era. So, not surprised to see all these are dead, so I just wanted to show you how pretty the circuit board is on the bottom. Look at that. That is beautiful looking. The only thing that's a bit weird is that these chips down here are a bit shiny. There's a couple MOSFETs, and then there's that big chip down there. It looks all shiny. I hope that isn't from too much heat. Board doesn't look too bad though. That might just be residue from this thing though, the shielding. So, guess I'll get the soldering iron warmed up. Both of them. Actually, we'll use the desoldering iron to get them off. Then we'll use the soldering iron to get the new capacitors on. While I'm waiting for the soldering irons to warm up, let's take a look at the caps we bought. These are big caps. Holy crap. I wonder if they're going to fit on this board. Oh yeah, they will. They're the same size. That works for me. Some Nichicon 820 microfarad, 25 volt. One little tiny 50 volt there. And a bunch of those 330, 330 microfarad. As you can see, it's the PW series. That's exactly what you should use on a power supply like this. If you're going to repair one, you want to use power supply rated caps on a power supply. Someone commented in the video, thrift store video, about this monitor, saying that I could save some money by buying caps off of eBay from China. Yeah, I face-palmed too. That's just a very, very bad idea. I prefer getting my capacitors from reputable places, such as Mouser Electronics or DigiKey, or amongst the others. There's another one that isn't coming to mind. There's another one that's really good. MCM Electronics, that's the other one that's pretty good. Getting your caps from there is a good thing. This guy was saying that all caps are made in China. Wrong, 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 very wrong. Nichicon is Japanese, along with many of the other caps that are supplied on Mouser, such as Nippon Chemicon and United Chemicon. I forget where Cornell Dubler come from. I think they might be American. I'm not sure. But either way, you want to get your caps from a reputable source. Because on eBay, if you're buying from China, you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, really, you could get anything. I've bought caps on eBay before, and they had one brand in the display picture and sent me a completely different brand in the mail. So, it's just generally a bad idea. The only time I go to eBay for capacitors is when Mouser or MCM or DigiKey or whoever just doesn't have the cap in stock, or doesn't even have it at all, because it's just a very weird cap. So I think the best example of that is when I used to work at the record shop a couple of years ago. We had a monoblock amplifier, and it was tube-based from probably the 50s, mid to late 50s. It had a multi-layer electrolytic metal canned capacitor. It was basically 3 capacitors in one, and it used a proprietary pinout on the bottom. So we did turn to eBay for that one, because it was just an odd one. We just wanted to basically get it working and get it out the door. It wasn't necessarily a restoration, it was a repair. Myself, I would have gone with 3 discrete caps, but hey, that's what the boss wants, he gets. So that's what you do. So the moral of the story is, don't try to skimp out. If you're trying to save money on capacitors, don't waste your time, because if you buy crappy caps, you'll probably end up doing the repair again fairly soon. So I'm buying capacitors that are rated for the job. These are all Nichicon PW series, which are power supply rated low impedance. I'm not sure if these are high temperature or not. I forgot to check that. But other than that, they're a lot better than what are in here now, which are Capxon 330 microfarad capacitors. These are Capxons, which are very generic Chinese caps. Now, I've had pretty good luck with Capxon in power supplies, except for that one power supply. In fact, I think, yeah, this power supply I think is the one. I think this is the power supply that had that just abysmal filter cap in it that was made by Capxon, but that wasn't a case of capacitor failure. That was a case of the capacitor was underrated. These blew from probably the incomplete electrolyte formula that is so talked about on the internet. So, enough of my babbling. Let's put these new caps in. Well, first I got to take the old ones out. And to do that, I'm going to use the desoldering iron. For those of you wanting to learn to solder, one of these is very handy, because basically you squeeze that to get the air out. You put it on a certain solder joint, you let that melt, then you let go, and it sucks the solder right up, so you don't even have to deal with it. And then to get rid of the solder that's, in the head, you just squeeze it. It's basically like using a blood pressure meter almost. So I'm gonna get these caps out of here, and then we'll start. Basically, what I do is I replace them one at a time. So that's what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna do like these two at one time, that one at one time, and then these two at one time, just to keep my head organized. And then I'll do that tiny little guy down there. So here we go. Okay, I've got these two new caps right here, mounted in there, with the negative side facing the label like it was before. I haven't soldered them in yet. I just have the leads kind of bent out so they stay in. But the funny thing about these is they're a little bit bigger than the old caps. Not by much though. As you can see, they're just like barely taller, so I think it'll be fine. If it is a problem, I'll get some low profile ones. And yeah, so this is the solder I use. Just Radio Shack 6040 rosin core solder. Don't use the lead-free stuff because it doesn't have flux built in. This stuff does. So I'll use my iron here. My soldering iron, all my soldering equipment's from Radio Shack pretty much. This is a Radio Shack 15 and 30 watt iron. It actually has a switch to switch between the two. This is what I use to solder, and this is what I use to desolder. This is a 40 watt iron. So let's get on with replacing these caps. I won't babble on, I'll just replace all these and get back to you once I'm done. Alright, I got all the caps replaced. My soldering work is not great though. I'll show you that in a minute, but as you can see, all the caps are replaced and they don't really look any different. They're the same color as the Capxons were. This is what all these caps are supposed to look like. The only one I didn't change was this big filter cap here, which is probably fine. I don't have an ESR meter to verify that, but I'm betting that it's pretty okay. What I've noticed is there are actually spots on the circuit board where capacitors could have gone. A Y capacitor could have gone there. That's what a Y capacitor looks like. These blue guys. One could have gone there, but they chose not to do that. But there is a filter choke, it looks like, right there. So they also could have chosen to put a capacitor there, but they didn't. I don't know what purpose that would serve. I guess more filtering, but they didn't put it there for whatever reason. Would you be quiet, radio? Anyway, yes, it's been recapped. Here are the old caps. These old guys here. Not great looking, are they? This is the one little one that was probably okay. There's one. And there's the one that had all that nice paste coming out of the top. Tasty. So, I'll go put this back in the monitor, and we'll test it out. Alright, I put the monitor back together, all the caps are there, everything's plugged in. Let's give it a shot. This is the first monitor I've ever fixed. So, anything that can go wrong will go wrong, I suppose. But maybe I'll get lucky. Let's find out. Get in there. Jesus. Plug sucks. Alright. Let's see if we actually get stable picture. Did we get anything? Yay! we have picture, my friends. This is good. This is very good. Let's take it up to my computer upstairs and try it out. Ah, we do. Yes. I'm very happy. I hear nothing coming from out of the monitor. And I see no scratches on the panel. This is promising, guys. Sweet. Alright, I have this newly repaired monitor on my main computer. The nice thing about this is I can set the stand up high so that it's actually at eye level, which is really good for your neck, actually. So that should be nice when using this monitor. This monitor is 1600 by 1200, whereas this Acer monitor was 1440 by 900, which is a darn good resolution for a 19-inch monitor. It looks beautiful, but this gives me more screen real estate, and that's what I'm interested in. I still got to take these stupid Goodwill stickers off. This monitor was this is an $8 monitor, if you guys were curious. So, and I fixed it for another $9 practically. So, let's turn this on and see how it looks. Oh yeah, oh yeah! Look at that. My God, that is gorgeous. Wow, that's nice, man. That's really nice. Sweet. This is I'm not used to screens this big. So it's a 1600 by 1200 monitor. Which is pretty awesome. Now games will look beautiful on this big resolution. That is awesome, man. I'm very happy about this. So I was watching, let's just go load one of my videos. I don't know, the Bell and Howell camera. Behold. The Bell and Howell auto load. Let's put this in 720p.
Dual electric eye, 8mm movie camera.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
Dates from probably the 60s, if I had to guess. From the research I've done on it.
Looks like this is a 4x3 monitor. So, unfortunately, that's what you get. It's 4x3, but it's darn beautiful. So, I'm very happy about that. This is nice, man. This is really nice. I'm not sure if this will stay as the monitor on my main computer or not, but this was the nearest thing I had to test it with. So, there you have it, guys. Anyhow, that is this monitor repaired. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if it dies again or anything else happens to it, I'll let you know. Have a good one, everybody. Ciao.